wants to go? Right here. Guys, if we can we get the doors closed in the back so we can hear a little bit better? Thank you.
Who would win that fight? Uncle Fester.
Okay, right here.
Yeah, who was crazier, Doc Brown or Reverend Jim?
Probably Doc Brown. Reverend Jim had his problems, but it was mostly chemically induced. So I'd say Doc Brown in a particular way. His special madness.
How did you get cast as Uncle Fester? Your body type is completely different.
Well, when I got called to go in for Uncle Fester, I asked myself the same question. I grew up with Uncle Fester because it was always a magazine when I was a cartoon, and Charles Adams cartoons were featured. And Uncle Fester, as a kid, I grew up, Uncle Fester was one of my very favorites. So, like years later, I got called to be Uncle Fester, and I thought, I don't quite physically fit the type, but we went in and we worked on it with the costume and makeup, etc. When I first went in, I wanted prosthetics to give me a round head, a round face, and they made prosthetics and they were applied and all that. And then they did a test shot of a scene. And me and Raul Julia did a scene together. I was like feeling very insecure about it, because I didn't feel like really had gotten invested yet. And we shot the scene with a makeup. It was ostensibly a makeup. But I got a call a couple of days later, this very serious call from the producer saying, "We'd like you to come in. We want to show you the scene. We want to talk to you." And I thought, I'm going to be fired before I even get started. And I came in, and there was a man waiting in the room, and he was, without changing or doing anything, he looked exactly like Uncle Fester. So I assumed I was going to be replaced. And the guy had a robe, bald, had a body, the whole thing. It turned out eventually he was my stand-in. But they showed me the test reel, and the prosthetics kind of froze my face. They knew what expression, so they eliminated all that, and they went all things out for next time. I walked around under the road with my knees bent most of the time, you get the impression that it was shorter. Theater magic.
Right here.
Clues, probably all the films I've done, it was a true ensemble, and I felt very privileged being a part of it, but it was such a talented cast, and almost every scene includes the whole cast. We're always together, running around together, the whole thing, and it was a genuine ensemble, and it was a wonderful group of people, cast members and the director. So it was a great experience, really great experience. And it's thrilling to see how many people today and yesterday and at other occasions of all movies I've done. I think Clue is the one most mentioned that people continue to watch and listen to. Did great. Old Peter in the States. Did great in Britain because they had a certain appreciation for the game. Well, it was a great experience. Thank you.
Over here.
He just started working with Andy Kaufman. A lot of people asked me if he was really insane. And he was not. He was somebody who was very, very intelligent, and he had a real idea of a kind of humor he wanted to present. And he went about it very deliberately, very methodically. He thought things out very, very clearly about what he wanted to do. I remember going to him, we kind of befriended each other early on. I remember he invited me to some of his wrestling, mud wrestling matches with women, which was quite a thing to observe. I guess, and he could drive the cast members a bit crazy once in a while. He was late for the show one night, and the live audience was waiting and all that, and people were running all around making calls, where the hell is Andy Kaufman? And the clock was ticking, and they found him in his car with a friend doing exercises. He did a lot of yoga. And I remember once he kind of pissed Tony Danza off in some way, I don't know. And Tony Danza got a fire extinguisher that spouts out that jets of foam. And he went to Andy's dressing room, opened the door, Andy was in there all over the room. But my favorite, something that I thought was amazing, he did a lot of meditation with transcendental kind of things in his spiritual life. And one day we were getting ready to do the show. We rehearsed in the afternoon with the entire staff, all the crew present, and some conversation came out about levitation. And he said that he could do that. So we took our 10-minute break, and he got out in the middle of the stage floor in the yoga position to levitate. And everybody is kind of spellbound because who knows? You know, he just might levitate. You know, he had the balls, if you will, to sit down on the floor in front of everybody and, you know, get into his head. And we're literally, what is going to happen here? You know, he just might do it. And it went on and on and on. He just sat there. And finally, the production manager, you know, we had to get back to rehearsing, so we called a stop to the whole thing. But I thought, this is kind of a daring thing to do, and a guy who has a conviction about his type of comedy. I thought it was something very admirable. And there we got Andy Kaufman. Slow down.
Okay, who had a question over here? Right here.
So in Back to the Future, like in 2009, we had a cover board, like John 36, when the shark came out to you.
I'm sorry.
So in Back to the Future, in 2009, we had a cover board, and like John 36, where you had like the shark that was coming at you when you're not even in the theater. Are you at all disappointed that things didn't turn out the way they did in the movie?
I don't think I want to turn out.
That we done the cover boards?
No, because you know it's going to happen someday. I have faith. You know, I mean, they have this sneaker that they came up with, Nike came up with, that sort of automatically tied itself, which it's something that comes up in, I think, in Back to the Future too. He's got sneakers, they tie it itself. And so eventually, someday, they have other kinds of hovering things. And it'll probably just time. You know, a whole new era of Back to the Future craziness will start. But I have faith.
too much if you could say the line that what happened to me on Indian House Tower.
Talking about gigawatts?
How did you, like, when you were playing Doc Brown, how did you prepare for every day?
How do I prepare for it? Well, I knew that Doc Brown he is never at rest. Doc Brown is always in the midst of a crisis. You know, he's frantic all the way through. That's like a given. That's his modus operandi. He is there's always something. You know, great Scott. You know, it's like and part of my inspiration. I'm kind of a classical music nut, and back in the day there was an incredible conductor by the name of Arturo Toscanini, an incredible genius. And there was another conductor by the name of Leopold Stokowski, who was a great innovator with classical music and all that. And he had an album out. There was a guy who wrote this classical musical composition called The Planets. There was I can't remember his name at the moment, but it came out on an album, 33 the Third, and that showed the solar system, all the planets going on. And the conductor, Leopold Stokowski, was a conductor for the album. And there was a look on, and Leopold Stokowski had this beautiful profile of all this white hair going back. And that was my image of the guy. And he was that sort of guy. He was that kind of, he was a frank, you know, crazy genius. I remember my father saw the album and he looked at it and he said, I'm sure he's a great musician, but why does he have to have his hair like that? You know? I haven't worked that out. So, it's just, he's got tremendous drive, and he's always thinking of something, like thinking more, his cat later, you know, seeing into his brain or other people's brains, you know, he's just that kind of guy. I think that's an answer.
Right there.
You a Dodger fan?
Yes. And they're in town. And they won last night.
Your Dodgers feel the pain for our man.
What?
Your Dodgers feel the pain.
Steel stole the what?
The Phillies fired their manager, but it wasn't the Dodgers that did that. It was what's his name, the GM.
Oh. Well,
Mark, a really bad team on the field.
I don't, you know, it's like the Mets. I was a big Mets fan when they first started out. For 8 years, they were like, suck. You know, they couldn't, you know, Casey Stengel went, huh?
Somebody said they still do.
Yeah, Casey Stengel was managing the Mets for a while. They had many managers for those 8 years. And nobody could seem to get them out of the basement. And Casey Stengel walked down the dugout one day and said, "Doesn't anybody here know how to play this game?" You know, that kind of thing. So, and then I gave up. When they won the series, I gave up on them because I couldn't go through that again. But the Dodgers, I kind of lost interest. But this year, they looked like they were on the road to hell. And then suddenly everything sort of come together for them. So. Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah. And unfortunately, I never want to miss the game. That's what it is.
Okay.
Yes, on Back to the Future 1, what was it like working with Eric Stoltz?
It was great. It was great working with Eric Stoltz. And of course, he was dropped after 6 weeks of filming. I mean, it's 6 weeks of shooting that film. And then I had no anticipation that he was going to be dropped, because he's a very good actor. They just felt, looking at the dailies every day, that they had to have somebody with more of a comic flair. And they had originally thought of Michael J. Fox, but he was shooting a series at the time, so there's no way he couldn't get out of the series. He had to finish the season or whatever. So they finally worked something out. But Eric Stoltz he's a wonderful actor, and it's just that they decided they had to have somebody with more of the name comic flair to it. So they did.
Thank you.
Okay. In the back of the blood?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Star Trek 3, I know a lot of times they don't film main actors like you were the Klingon captain. Did you actually work with William Shatner or DeForest Kelly, or were your scenes shot differently than
No,
that?
all the cast was there for all the scenes they were in. I remember getting some people saying, "Oh, you know, we worked with Shatner." Whoa, you know, but everything went well. He won the fight. But he was great to work with. Yeah.
Who else has a question? Over here.
Roger Rabbit question. What was it like working with animated characters, things that didn't physically exist?
It was a lot of work because we had to pretend that we had look. There was a guy, a comedian, who dressed up as Roger Rabbit, and I can't remember, he's a comedian. Charles Fleischer, right? And so he had this wacky voice, and he had this crazy costume on, and he'd be our off-camera reference. So when we talked to Roger Rabbit, we talked to Fleischer off stage, off camera, which was great. But and then in another way, when any actor had physical things to do with an animated character, they had dummies. I mean, they had a dummy Roger Rabbit about that tall, waiting, had weight, and the same with the other characters. And you rehearsed with the dummy character. So, and they had a pantomist who guide us in what muscles and what we would do to compensate for labor movements. We had a lot of practice in that area. And then, of course, when we shot the scene, we wouldn't be there, but at least we'd have practiced the physical part that we had to do. But it was a lot of work. And Bob Hoskins, who had the most work to do, he was quite crazy, because he spent 3 months trying to imagine a creature that didn't exist, and it was wearing him down. He was losing sleep after a while. But that's the way it worked out.
Chris, I have a question. When you worked in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, is there anything, I mean, it was such a great ensemble of actors.
Yeah.
And I had read that you had even gone to like an asylum to kind of prepare for your role for like a week or two.
Yeah.
Is there anything that really, like in looking back over the years, is there anything that really stands out about that film, either the success it had or experience you had making it, or the people you worked with?
I guess the experience we had making, it was my first film, and so I felt like a fish out of water. You know, I'd done a lot of theater, but it was my first time on my first film. And it was an amazing cast. I mean, I'm just talking about the cast for Flew, and overlooking the cast for One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. It was an extraordinary cast. Jack Nicholson was wonderful to work with. He was already a big star, but he worked and helped us. I remember once one of the cast members became ill in the middle of were shooting a particular scene, and we didn't get the scene was put on the shelf for a month while he went in this other actor went into treatment. And when we came back, I couldn't find my place in the scene again. I mean, I knew the lines and all that, but I couldn't get back to where I was when we were originally shooting it. And I wasn't getting help from Milos Forman directly. He wasn't neglected. He was just, and Jack Nicholson came over to me kind of on the slide. I don't know what he said, but he just said a few words. He recognized that I was having a problem. He just said something, you know, just shared something that put me right back into it. So he was so helpful to all, because most of the young actors that hadn't done any film.
Yeah, I mean, but then, you know, the popularity grew, like, I mean, looking back at the film now, I remember seeing it when it came out. You know, now you look back and it's like, wow, you know, that person went on to do that. And that
Yeah.
I mean, it's an amazing cast.
It is. It was great. And we all really worked hard on it. Milos Forman had an interesting way of auditioning. He would have a space and he'd set chairs around, like in a movie for group meetings, and he'd have 7 or 8 actors come in and sit around who were all auditioning, including myself. And Milos would play a part of Nurse Ratched. And he'd sling questions or guide this improvisation. And through that, he'd see who responded in what way and who would work out for the film. It was an amazing experience. Amazing experience.
Right here.
My favorite line in Roger Rabbit? I don't recall one. I remember screaming when I was drowned in the dip. But I don't remember exactly. Oh, shave it a haircut. I didn't know what that meant when I got this. I just felt I didn't cut it, but I guess it worked out.
In the back, in the middle here with your arm up. The next one over, and then the other. The girl right there. Right, I can't see, but there's a light right behind it. Okay, go.
Doc Brown, the first 2 movies, that's great. You have a third one, you had love interest. I'm wondering if that was like a weird transition from Doc Brown to like romantic out.
I was so grateful. Well, Mary Steve version and I had worked together before, and I have to own up. I had kind of an infatuation. We never went beyond anything that, you know, but there was a real romantic feud between us. So she was ideally cast, and lovely to work with, and I just relished every moment working with it. It was great. I haven't talked for about it, but I think it was mutual. Yeah.
Okay, the red bandana? Or the red baseball cap?
I've been told numerous times in my life, Chris, that I look like you. So I'm like, my dad's in 77, 78. Were you around New Jersey this time?
I don't know. I haven't nobody notified me that I, you know, but I'm Did I?
It was unforgettable.
Yeah. I can't put it together at the moment. But I'm sure that I'm alone there. Sorry. If it comes to mind, I'll...
Okay, right by the door. Yep. Deadly Games.
Oh, Deadly Games. I at least remember the title. I do a lot of things that aren't necessarily happening commercial. Deadly Games. Give me a clue. I think for the sake of time, I'm going to have to pass on that one. I'm sorry. I mean, I remember, I know I did. I can't remember enough to talk. Okay, sorry.
Okay, right here.
Yeah, I remember that. That's right. What about it? How do I feel about it? Dennis, oh, that's what we talked about this. Yeah. I loved it. I loved it. I mean, I was this, weasel with nothing but snarky, evil guys taking advantage of everybody. And I loved it. I loved the whole idea of stealing the purse at the playground. So good. I had a scene in there, which you may remember, where I'm kind of walking along the alley of this nice neighborhood, the back alley, and the fence, and there's a little boy sitting in the backyard eating an apple. And I take out this mother of a knife, and I take it, and I eat it. This kid could not look at me without crying. But I mean, I'd be out of makeup. And I'd be walking somewhere, and he'd be with his mom, and he'd be like just shrilling and crying.